Hello, everybody, and welcome to JoJerz Wild Side Corner. Today we got quite a bit of news with Week 1 results, Week 2 picks for me, some top six and bottom six teams. We also got uh, some big wrestling news. We got our top six wrestlers of the week, and we'll have also the top 10 wrestlers of the year per Wrestling Observer. I think that was what I saw on there. Da, 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 yeah, the PWI 500 Wrestlers of the Year. We'll go over that as well when we get to it. And then some shows that are coming up here in the following year. But first, let's get into some NFL as we have quite a bit of news. First of all, the results of Week 1. Let's go over that. We had Week 1. We had Kansas City beat Baltimore on Thursday. I had Baltimore picking up the win there. Uh, did not get that one, but it is what it is. Um, we also had on Friday the first game in Brazil with Philly going over Green Bay 34-29. Uh, both teams played really well. At times they looked like they were struggling, but they overall played very well. Um, then on Sunday we had the notable games that I'm gonna point out here. We had Houston and Indianapolis going towards the end of the game. It ended up being 29-27 Houston. Very close game for these two rookie quarterbacks. Well, second year quarterbacks, CJ Stroud and Richardson. Both of them played very well. Richardson coming off the shaky year last year due to the injury. But he's definitely looking much, much better. And I think Indianapolis will be a force to be reckoned with. And both these teams will be the future of the AFC after Mahomes is gone. We had Buffalo get a squeaky win out of Arizona. It was at Buffalo. I think they're definitely missing their weapons, and you could tell when in this play with Arizona. And I'll talk more into that when we talk the top six and bottom six teams. Um, Notable game just because they continue the route that they had last year of being the worst team in the NFL. Carolina got destroyed by New Orleans, 47-10. Derek Carr had 200 yards, over 200 yards. The other one for me is the Raiders. Obviously, I'm a Raider fan, and we're definitely missing Carr right now, as we could not. I mean, it was terrible. There was a pass that he threw to the sideline, like directly to the sideline. It was bad. It was just really, really bad on that one. But um, other than that, the Sunday night game, LA versus Detroit, was very good. Started off slow, but it picked up and it went to overtime. And Detroit just showed their their power game pretty much as they run it down the throats of LA. And LA could not do anything in overtime as 9 of the last 10 plays were all just runs. It was such a great display at the end of the game. Just say, all right, this is all we're doing. Stop us, and they couldn't. So good showing by Detroit. And then Monday night we had the San Francisco 49ers host the New York Jets. Aaron Rodgers did finish the game. He did not get injured. But definitely the San Francisco 49ers showed why they are, or they were in the championship last year in the Super Bowl, as they beat down the Jets pretty handily. They never, I think besides the first quarter, I don't think they were ever in doubt of not winning the game. So that was just a bad showing by the Jets. It's also a new season. Aaron Rodgers is finally trying to get into the hang of things. So we'll see how that goes, if there's anything else going on. Before tonight's game, as it's the pre-show right now, let's pick games for this week, and then I'll get into some news, and then the bottom and top six teams. Tonight we do have Miami hosting Buffalo. Both of them coming off a win. Miami coming off a close win against the Jacksonville, and Buffalo, like I said, against Arizona. It is in Miami. Miami is favored by 2.5. I don't trust in Buffalo enough for them to put it away right now. So I think Miami speed and they're at home. I think Miami will take this one. It'll probably be more than 2.5 points. Sunday, I'm just gonna go through the whole list and then we'll see if there's any notable games as we go on. Dallas and New Orleans, hosting New Orleans. They both had big wins this for week one. New Orleans was always playing Carolina, who completely is trash. I mean, they haven't showed anything better than last year, so I can't say any better than that. So I'll put Dallas to win at home there. Dallas is favored by 6. We have Tampa Bay visiting Detroit. Both of them coming off a win. Tampa Bay looking very good with Baker Mayfield having a great game. Um, Detroit is favored by 7.5. I don't think they'll win by that much, but I still pick Detroit to take that win. We got Indianapolis at Green Bay. Both of them coming off a loss. Green Bay off of a tight, actually both of them out of tight losses. Green Bay against Philly and Indianapolis against Houston. I think Indy will take this one. They are favored by 2.5, but this really could go either way. But I'm taking Indianapolis. We have the New York Jets visiting Tennessee Titans. New York Jets are favored, and I think they're going to win. I think they have the better team, especially defensively, than Tennessee. We have Frisco at Minnesota. Minnesota did have a big win too this last week, but I think San Francisco is just too much. It is at Minnesota. Depends on the weather. It's still too early. I think Frisco takes a win. They are favored as well. Seattle at New England. Seattle's favored by 3.5. New England surprised me. They ended up beating. Who the fuck did they beat last week? They beat. Oh, they beat the Cincinnati Bengals that just never showed up. I'll pick New England on this one. They are at home, and I also don't see much of Seattle this year, so we will see. But I'm picking New England on that one. We got New York Giants at Washington. This is gonna be a trash game. Washington is at home and favored by 1.5. New York looks so bad. I'll give it to Washington, not by much, but it's this one. That one's a pick 'em really. Carolina is hosting LA Chargers. LA Chargers coming off a win over the Raiders, and Carolina's Carolina. Enough said. I'm picking the Chargers here. I think they'll win by more than 5 points. We got Cleveland at Jacksonville. Jacksonville is favored by 3. I think Cleveland does bounce back from that horrible game they had this last week. We had Vegas at Baltimore, the Raiders. I'm skipping that one because I can't go against my Raiders. So, and it's unbiased. I would always pick the Raiders. But next, we have LA Rams at Arizona. Arizona's favored by 1. I think the Rams pick a win here. I'll talk more about it when we talk about the top and bottom 6 teams. It's just Arizona to me doesn't seem like legit for comments that the quarterback made. I think he just sounds stupid. But what do I know? We have Pittsburgh visiting Denver. Pittsburgh gets favored by 2.5. I'll take Pittsburgh here to win more than 2.5. I think Denver is trying to find themselves with this new quarterback. He had a bad pick, and so Cincinnati's at Kansas City. Kansas City is favored by 5.5. So this one, I have a little thing. Cincinnati needs to show up. Last week they did not show up at all. They like stayed in at home, the hotel, whatever. If Cincinnati does not show up, I think it will be a runaway from Kansas City. That's what it is. If they play anything like they did against New England, they will get smoked by Kansas City. So I'm taking Kansas City here to win and cover. And then we got Chicago Bears, who got a miracle win over Tennessee, visiting Houston Texans. Houston's our favorite, and I am picking Houston to win that game as well on Sunday night. And then next Monday, we got Atlanta visiting Philly. Uh, I think Atlanta's taking a step back from last year, and they were not great last year either. So Phillies look good week one. I think they'll take a win there. So those are my picks for week two of the NFL season. Um, there's not many other news. Just a lot of people are betting on the New York Giants and on the Carolina Panthers. And that, oh, and Cincinnati. People are bashing on Cincinnati for not showing up. So yeah, so that's really all the news. The rest is just ticky tacky stuff. Nothing too big. Uh, but with that, let's move into our top six teams of week after week one and bottom 16. Let's start with bottom, just because I like to finish with um, good news. At number six, I got Cincinnati. Like we said, they did not show up against New England at all, and New England should have won that game, to be honest with you. But Cincinnati had all those issues. This is the second season in a row that they have contract issues with players, so uh, it showed on the field. They were really rusty. They were not getting off plays. At number five, I have Atlanta, who also fell back from last year, like I mentioned. So I have to put them up there. Or Washington, they're just not good. Enough said. At number three is Arizona Cardinals, and this pick is mainly for the comments. They played well, but mainly for the comments of their quarterback. I can't even remember his name right now. Uh, Let me bring it up. But the comments he made to their receiver, Marvin Harrison Jr., about him not being in charge of throwing the ball to him. I'm like, you're the fucking quarterback. Yeah, you are. You're definitely in charge of that. You get the ball every play. You decide where it goes. You don't have to give it to him. That is true. But you're part of your fucking job description, quarterback, giving the ball out to your players. So that comment just sounds bad. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm just completely wrong on that. But it's just sounded ignorant on him and seems like he doesn't care. Reminds me a lot of the comments of the quarterback from the Jets last year. Um, Wilson, Zach Wilson. Yeah, just about like when they asked him if he let the team down because he couldn't get a first down or a score, and their defense were playing their ass off, and he said no. Yeah, it's the same thing. It's just being ignorant on stuff, in my opinion. Am I right? Probably not, but that's what I think. Number two are New York Giants, who also looked horrendous. They got rid of the biggest weapon they had. They let him go to free agency, and not only that, they didn't get any returns on him, and he went to a competitive team in your division. I mean, I don't know what's up with the Giants, but they are trash right now, just hella trash. Uh, so they need to figure something out quick. If not, they're gonna have a full turnover again. And number one, the same team as all of last year. Um, the crappy Panthers. They seem like they got worse, and last year they were the worst. So I don't know how that is possible, but they found a way. But like I said, that's my bottom six teams. Topping it off with Carolina being the worst team again. But let's move on to some positive news here. The top six teams so far after week one. At number six, I got New Orleans, who had that beatdown on Carolina, who we just talked about. Um, they look a lot better than last year, especially Carr feels like he's getting more in the rhythm with the players and he's more comfortable with the system. Uh, Boy, we miss you, Carr, in the Raiders. Yeah, a lot, especially right now. So because it was a Carolina who they beat, I couldn't put them too high. There's other teams that got close wins or closer wins than that, but they were versus better teams, so I put them up a little bit. Uh, but I gave them that respect that they looked a lot better. At number five, I have Buffalo, who squeaked in away that win. Um, Crap, I can't even remember with who right now. Brain farted hard, but anyways, they squeaked out a win. Um, Allen still looks great, but they definitely need to pick up some weapons or something to help him out. It is not looking good for him for the rest of the season if that's how he's going to play. At number 4, I have Dallas, who also had a beatdown in week 1. Um, I can't put him any higher because Dallas will Dallas up the season, and this is how they opened last year with the whooping on somebody else as well. So, um, number 4 for them. At number 3 is the reigning champions, Kansas City. They had a great game with the tough team, Baltimore, and they barely won due to some toes. Literally a toe that went over the line in the end zone. That could have they were gonna go for 2. So either way, it would have been a tough pill. But Kansas City did get that big win in Baltimore, um, and it was a good game. That was a great game, and they both played well. Uh, at number 2 is the Lions. For it's just yes, they have some stuff to work on, but that last drive just showed me it's like if they want to run it down your throat, you cannot stop them. Uh, I don't know how good the defense is for the Rams this year. We'll have to wait and see. But I'll keep an eye on that for the rest of the season. They might just become a running team really after that. And speaking of a running team, at number 1 is the 49ers. Man, they had some big gaping holes, as they like to say, all night. They were just running all over the Jets. Very few times the Jets really stopped them as they wanted to. 49ers just ran run shot off on them. Oh yeah, I forgot about that. The video about Tyreek Hill being pulled out by cops. What we're not getting into that because it's kind of political and kind of like, yeah. But come on, guys. But anyways, that's my bottom 6 and my top 6 teams here. That for week 1. I'll give you week 2's next week on Thursday as well. Moving on now into some Major League Baseball. Uh, Nothing too big. Just the first news is Utani being close to going 50 runs, 50 steals. I think the last thing I heard was 47-47. Shawnee chasing, yeah, it was Oh, so he has 47 home runs, 48 stolen bases. Um, yeah, that is crazy. I'm gonna keep a track on that, but he is getting really close to catching that. Um, with the schedule, let's see if they play tonight. New York and Boston are playing already. We do not have tonight. The Dodgers are off tonight. They do come back tomorrow and face Atlanta at Atlanta. So we'll see if he's able to get that 50-50 by the end of the year. Uh, but besides that, there's not many big news. We'll go over the top teams here in the league. It looks like Dodgers fell off just a little bit. They're not number 1. But we'll do our top and bottom 6 teams here. We'll start with our bottom, as there's another team's been eliminated. So we'll go with our bottom 6 teams here. Uh, at number 6, yeah. Oh my God, Washington Nationals. They have 65 wins, 80 losses, and they're minus 85 on scoring. We have at number 5 Oakland Athletics, who soon will be Las Vegas. 64 wins, 83 losses. Um, yeah, just terrible team this year. Los Angeles Angels, who's the other team that's been eliminated, at number, what is it, 4, with minus 128 runs. God, that is awful. After that, we have at 3 Carolina. Yeah, we'll put Colorado Rockies. Sorry, with a minus 226 run differential. At number 2, we have Miami Marlins, 54-92, with a minus 197, so they keep it a little closer than these guys, but not by much. And then the worst team in the leagues, it hasn't changed in a while, Chicago White Sox with the minus, so 33 wins, 114 losses. That is terrible. 0.224 percentage with the minus 311. Jesus, 311 runs. Those teams are awful. Anywho, now moving to some positive news here. The top 6 teams right now will be, I'll put Arizona Diamondbacks just above Baltimore Orioles, specifically due to the last 10. They're 6-4 in the last 10. Orioles are 5-5. So number 6, Arizona Diamondbacks. They have a winning streak of 3. At number 5, I will put Milwaukee Brewers, 83-62. Last 10 are 4-6. They're a little rough, but they're still a very good team. At number, what was that, 4 now? Yeah, I'll put New York Yankees, bringing back the spot from where the league has them at. They're tied on record with number 3 with me, 84-62. But their last 10, they've been falling off a little. So I will put Yankees at 4. And number 3, I have Cleveland Guardians, who also have the same record. But the last 10, they're 7-3. So bump them up a little on that. At number 2, we have the Dodgers with 87 wins, 59 losses. Last 10, 5-5. So they're 500 in the last 10. And then the team that overtook that one spot is Philadelphia Phillies with 88 wins, 58 losses. The difference of 1 game with number 2 spot. The last 10, this is where they've been hot. They're 8-2 with a 3-game winning streak. So the Phillies are in a hot streak right now. Let's see if they can continue that. But yeah, that's my top and bottom 6 teams here for the MLS. Major League Baseball. Sorry. Other than that, where is it? Sorry, got a little bit of a brain fart. Let's see. Any big soccer news? No, not really. Well, that's all the sports news for today. I am watching the pregame here a little bit of this Thursday night game before it starts. They did go over the Tyreek Hill incident. I'll go into it more and possibly talk about it next week. I just don't like to get into too much politics, and all that stuff. USA did have a soccer international friendly against New Zealand. They ended up tying 1-1. Mexico also had one against Canada, tied 0-0. It was just a friendly, but it kind of gauges where they're at. And right now, Mexico has, in the Gold Cup, they look terrible. USA also did not look great, so they need to improve a lot, in my opinion. But moving on now, we're going to go into some wrestling news. There's quite a bit of it going on here. We do have our top 6 wrestlers of the week. I'll get into that at the end. First, let's talk about Nigel McGuinness. A big news announced last night at AEW that he's challenging Bryan Danielson not for the championship, but just to have a match at I forgot the event, but it's a few weeks away. Nigel McGuinness possibly having one more match with Bryan Danielson, revise their rivalry they had in the mid-2000s in ROH that was intense. Their matches were hard-hitting and they lasted for quite a bit. They were long matches and brutal matches. So I'm excited for that. Also this week, especially in that happened on NXT on Tuesday night, we had a few big surprises. But one of the big ones, was the Bloodline interfered on the opening match of the for the NXT titles, just taking out both teams of the Street Profits and Axiom and Frazier, completely taking them out. Did not expect them to come in there, but great show. NXT was a great show. Uh, they also had the TNA superstar, former MLW world champion, and NWA superstar Alex Hammerstone show up to challenge Obafemi after the Don contracted him to the. Did not expect him. I thought it would have been somebody else, but that was a good surprise. I think his match was. I think they didn't make him look as strong as he could have been looked, but it was still a good match, especially against Obafemi. The other one, it was Bret Hart and Gunther's segment on Raw was fire. First of all, with Gunther talking his smack, first saying that Bret is a hero even to him, but is not his favorite, and then taking a shot at Bret, saying that Goldberg is, which is the one that retired him pretty much. Uh, Great segment. And then as Sami Zayn comes out, Gunther cowers and runs away, and Bret calls him on that. Like, you ain't a champion, you're a coward. And that got under Gunther's skin. So let's see if that changes his view on Sami Zayn challenge. But that whole segment was great. Um, the other one was the NXT debut of Gilia. Was great. I mean, you can't just make him look super strong, especially with someone like Chelsea Green. But I think they could have done a little more to make her look stronger, especially on her debut. But it was still a good match. She had a few segments backstage that were great. Uh, Great debut on her. Great NXT show and overall, to be honest with you. Uh, and then breaking news announced for tomorrow. SmackDown will start with the cage match that it involves Solo versus Cody Rhodes for the WWE Undisputed Championship. Uh, I'm very excited for that, as there's a possibility that more people interfere, as in the Bloodline, uh, both the new and the old possibly showing up, but we will see on that. Um, Now let's go over what PWI released this week. The top 10 wrestlers for them this year so far, or at least that they're going to put in the magazine. At number 10, they have Mystico, formerly Sin Cara, when he was in WWE. I guess going back to Mexico got him his head and his it's just like he couldn't really connect to the crowd out in here. So he probably does a lot better with the Mexican crowd, especially his style. Um, at number 9 is Gunther, the Ring General, the world champion. They put him at 9. He's had a great last 2 years, so that is a good spot. I think I would have put him a little higher personally, but at number 8 they're putting John Moxley, who's had many titles this year. Great performance all around. At number 7, excuse me, they put MJF. I think he did not, like, part of the year he was injured. I'm not saying he doesn't deserve it. A top 7, top 10, top 15, but I think 7's a little high for him this year. But he's had done outstanding work for sure. I would have switched him out for Brian Danielson for this year, but other than that, most of the list is pretty good. At number 6, they put Damian Priest. Excuse me, long day. Who had a good year. Better the year than I think the number 5 personally, but they have Tetsuya Naito at number 5. Maybe I just didn't pay attention enough to New Japan this year, but he's also, I know he's their IWGP World Champion twice this year, so maybe that's one. At number 4, they've had the bearer of the first World Heavyweight Championship for WWE, Seth Rollins. Uh, Very much deserved. And I think that's a good spot for him. And number three, we have the aerial assassin, Will Ospreay, who's had a tremendous year. From, I mean, pretty much anything he does is gold right now. Anything he touches, he has amazing matches left and right. And number two is the former AEW World Champion, whose house Strickland. Strick, uh, I mean, he had an amazing year, amazing matches and programs with Adam Page, especially still continuing right now. Um, Great program um, with Joe when he was going for the title. He's had great programs and great matches through the year. So that's a good spot for him. I might have switched number two and number three, Will Ospreay and Strickland, but that's a good spot there. Excuse me, I am kind of tired. But at number one is Cody Rhodes. Uh, I mean, he has had an amazing last 2 years. This last year, really, after WrestleMania, two WrestleManias ago, where he lost that championship match, pretty much started from the bottom again to build himself up. So, and then finally won the title at WrestleMania in a great match, great show. So Cody Rhodes at number one. I do have a feeling that he will turn heel, but we'll talk about that some other time. So yeah, that's PWI's top 10 wrestlers of the year. The whole list will be released later on. For the most part, I agree. There's a few that would have switched around or switched out for somebody else that possibly is probably an 11, 12, 13 spot. But yeah, other than that, I do not disagree with the whole list. I mean, I'm not doing that list. I will be doing one at the end of the year. I'll be doing the best, pretty much the wrestling awards for me. But that was wrestling, which and then finally, let's go into some entertainment. We do have some shows coming up, and I will be reviewing and reacting to some shows. I will be reacting to some trailers and probably watching some shows here with you guys if you guys are wanting me to. Let me know in the comments. We do have Heels that was once in Stars or Showtime. Now in Netflix is set to release, I think, the end of this week or next week. So I'll be getting back into Heels for sure. Other shows that are scheduled to come out. Vox Machina season 3 is on October. I'll probably be doing a watch along, a live stream reaction to you guys with you guys. We have The Penguin. It's gonna be a show. Did not realize that was gonna be a show. Can't wait to see that. Twilight of the Gods with Zack Snyder, I think it was. Let me bring that up again here. I know I saw it. Yeah, with Zack Snyder. Not sure. It's a season. It's a show, so excited for that. The McMahon documentary on Netflix that's coming out next week or the week after that. Or did it already come out? Anyways, I thought that was gonna be a movie. Apparently, it's a show. So I'll probably do a watch along with that as well. We have announced already last week or a few weeks ago, Arcane season 2. I think it was during Comic-Con that was announced, but a few years after it was released. I guess the pandemic and the strike stopped a lot of shows. That another one will pop up later that is years after it stopped. This last one, Tomb Raider was also announced that they were having a show from those that remember the game, the Tomb Raider game. So there's gonna be a show now. Also, Spider-Man will have another. It looked like a movie. Let me bring it up here real quick. Well, anyways, it's called Spider-Man Freshman Year. I think it's a movie. Yeah. Oh no, it's a show. So we'll see. We'll see if that's any good. Most Spider-Man shows are good. So I'm excited for that. The one I'm very excited about that I talked about, but it's been a few years since the last season, is the Recruit in Netflix. Is season 2 is finally being worked on, or is going to be released here soon. I can't wait for that. The first season was very good. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. Uh, Also, a very good anime on Netflix is the Blue Eyed Samurai season 2 is coming out as well. Excited, very much excited on that. The show is very violent, very physical. Love it. One Piece live action season 2 is being worked on as well. Should be released next year. Witcher, Jesus, The Witcher season 4. And I think that was the last season that Henry Cavill also was going to be on it. So they might switch stuff around or switch him with another actor. I don't know. But season 4 is set to be released here soon. Uh, Also, the Blade Runner is supposedly getting a series. So season 1 is set to be released next year as well. No names I think have been attached to it. There's also rumors of a Kratos show. Um, I'll probably give that a watch. Um, which one I was talking? Mm, mm, mm. Blade Runner is going to be on Prime, on Amazon Prime. No big names announced on it yet, but other than that, Wednesday season 2 will be coming out next year, and they're also working on X-Men '97, a second season. So I'm excited for all that, all those. I will also get some more trailers that I have lined up here for review, so I'll give those to you soon. Uh, Other than that, that's pretty much all the news we have today. Uh, if you guys want me to react or watch something, or want me to watch along with you guys or review, let me know in the comments. Anything you guys would like me to talk about, let me know, and I'll consider it in the comments. Also, remember to be grateful for all the stuff you have. Be grateful for the things you don't, all the problems you don't have, as it could always be much, much worse. Just look at the news and you understand. Uh, Also, anybody that's going through anything, remember, if it's life ain't always easy, but reach out to somebody. Reach out. You have some loved ones, your friends, family. There's some hotlines. I'll probably leave them in the comments, but reach out to someone. There's always someone that will listen. You know, we care. Or leave some in the comments. And we could have a conversation for sure. But other than that, I've been Lobo, and this was JoJerz Wild Side Corner. See ya.